back in the Keto Kitchen on the Matthew's Friends food channel. We get a lot of inquiries about sauces and gravies. Now, out on the marketplace you can find several already to buy, and they're all very nice. This is just one or two examples, but there's lots out there and you find one that you like. But I think it's nice to make your own, and you can make a fairly good tomato ketchup. The recipe is online, and all you need for it is some apple and tomatoes, the usual little bit of onion and garlic and some flavourings, a little bit of vinegar. I hope you do go on and find the recipe, because it's always preferable, I think, to have something that's made from fresh foods. But if you don't want to do it, as I say, you can buy them ready prepared. Now, gravy, a lot of people I know use the simplest form of gravy, and that's just a bit of stock cube dissolved in some water, and then you just deglaze whatever pan you've cooked your meat in, and you just serve it as a gravy. And that's great, because that's a good way of making sure you haven't left any fat behind in the pan, and you've got something to moisten the meal. But today I'm going to show you how to make an MCT gravy, and there will be two ways that you can serve that, and I'll just talk through it while I'm doing it. So first off, you need a pan on the heat. Now, I said it's MCT, and it is, but for the initial frying, just use a little bit of oil from the allowance in your ratio, because as you probably know, MCT oil smokes quite easily. So if you're frying, that can, be a bit of a nuisance. So just a little bit of normal olive oil, vegetable oil, or even a little bit of butter if you want to, just to do the first part of it. And with this gravy you can get 18 grams of MCT into it quite easily, which is a very good proportion of MCT. It means that the remainder of the meal you can just use your normal butters and creams, and you don't have to worry about it. Just let that cook for a little bit. It's just coming up to simmering. It's best not to brown them, just sweat them, as we say, and till they're a little bit tender. And when they cook just for a minute, because spring onions cook very, very quickly. So now that they are just beginning to soften, I'm going to add some mushrooms. Now, all this gives a really good flavour to this gravy. So that's mushrooms in. And as I said, there's two ways of serving this. You can leave it chunky, and this would go with sausages and celeriac mash very nicely as a chunky gravy. But if you're going to be serving it with a roast on a Sunday where you've got roast meat, you may want a smooth gravy, so that can be done. We use a little stock cube. For this, a quarter will do, and I'm using chicken. Chicken does actually enhance the flavour of other meats. That's beginning to soften, and as I put the cube in, I'm going to add 50 mils of water. Now you're wondering where the MCT oil is. As I said, because it has a tendency to smoke, if I don't have to fry it, then I don't. So that's going in with the water. You could, if you wanted, add a dash of Worcestershire sauce to give this an even stronger flavour. Salt and pepper, of course, but Knorr stock cubes do have a fair amount of salt in, so be careful with that, but certainly a little bit of black pepper would be fine. Now that is, as you see, simmering away. Now if you're happy to serve that as a gravy with the veg showing, as I say, with sausages and celeriac mash, it would look fine. But on the Sunday roast, it's nice to have it a bit smoother. So now I'm just going to get my hand blender. Don't need that on anymore. Right, you can see that has come down quite nicely to a fairly thick, smooth gravy. And there are, of course, other sauces that you can have to serve with chicken and vegetables, and that is a cheese sauce. Very, very quick and easy to make a cheese sauce. You can just melt down bon sang, for instance, which goes absolutely wonderful on chicken. And grated cheese with cream. Look on the Matthew's Friends website, because all of our gravies and sauces are on there. The recipes are there for you to see, and then of course you just adjust them to your ratio, but there's quite a good choice on there. We've gone through some savoury sauces and gravy, so now I'd like to talk about sweet sauces, which of course is another sort of inquiries. You can of course buy ready-made syrups. The maple syrup is fantastic for going on pancakes, and lovely chocolate sauce here, that is delicious, but you can make your own. And a keto jam is more than possible, and it's a fantastic way of using up the odd blueberries and raspberries that I've got left in the fridge and then they're looking a bit tired. They make very good jam. So look online, the recipe is there, and you won't believe how simple it is, and you'll end up with a nice pot of keto jam. You have to keep it in the fridge when you've made it, because obviously there's no preservatives in it, but it is very tasty. But today I'm going to show you how to make a very, very simple custard. Now, custard to most of us means opening a packet of Bird's custard powder and mixing it with milk, and that's it. But alas, we can't do that for the keto diet, so we have to revert to the original way of making custard, and that is with cream and egg. So all is not lost, we're doing the way it was meant to be. So we start off with Alpro. Very useful this, because it's carb free. It's ordinary milk, of course, has carbohydrate in, so we can't use that. Alpro has some protein, some cream, now you just start to bring that to the boil. Give it a little stir to make sure the cream has got mixed with the Alpro. And just before it's boiling, we're going to add it to the eggs. Now in there I've got 41 grams of egg yolks. They're tiny little baby eggs these, so I know it looks a lot, there's 4 yolks, but that's about equal to 2 ordinary ones. Just give those a mix to break them down. Now the only danger, if you want to call it that, of making custard the correct way is it can curdle. If you do everything too hot, you'll end up with scrambled eggs. Now, if you want to be absolutely sure of not doing that, the other way of making this is by having the pan on hot water. I find that a little bit laborious, and I prefer to do it this way. I'm going to pour that on, mix it in quickly, and you're going to put it back, because obviously we don't want to be serving up raw egg. But you can see that that is a lovely custard colour. And these were lovely dark egg yolks, they're nice free range eggs. And they were very tiny, but they were so fresh, it was amazing. Back on the heat. Now you've got it back on the heat with the egg yolk in, you must keep stirring it, just to make sure it doesn't catch on the bottom or curdle. At this stage it shouldn't. Once you've got the hot milk into the egg yolk, you've pretty well eliminated the risk of it turning into scrambled egg. Right, so that's now come almost to a boil, and that is hot enough to have cooked the egg. Now this isn't going to be a thick custard, unfortunately. If you put more egg yolks in or less Alpro, then of course it would be thicker, but you don't want too eggy a flavour, so you have to be careful there to get the right balance. But I think a thin custard is quite nice. And I'm just going to put a squirt of the good old Hermesitas. It's up to you how much you use. Personally, I don't like a great deal, but I know some of you like it really sweet. In. And now I'm also going to add a drop or two of vanilla extract, because bird's custard is flavoured in that way, so we can do it too. Again, it's up to you how strong you want the vanilla to be. So that's your custard that is ready. You don't pour it back in the pan that you were preparing in, you get a nice jug and it's ready to serve up.